All right. So now that I've recapped, okay, well, first of all, it is me, unapologetically T. And now that I have recapped, my other video got cut off, and we just gonna end it there. But like, she was playing in my face, and I'm happy that I didn't lose my cool. But I think I had about 6 or 7 classes, and like I said, she was a 1 credit class. So out of those classes, like, they were 3 and 4 credit classes, and I got all A's in those because that was my goal from the beginning of the semester. And her 1 credit class, she gave me a B. So, and like I said, we were peer advisors. That's what the class was. That's what the class was. There was really no materials that we needed to study for. Like, but she played in my face. I blame her sometimes for a lot of my big distrust in white women. And I do know that's my own work I gotta do. But white women have, she ain't the only one. But she ain't the only one. But that one hurt because it was like, I'm looking to you like you're my advisor. Like, I'm telling you my goal in the beginning of the semester, and you tried to sabotage that shit. You know that I am a single mother. You know I work. You know I be helping my mom and my uncle. Like, you know all these personal things about me. And you tried to sabotage me? But I earned an A in that class. She can get out of my face. But okay, so funny thing is that she had written down that was the goal with her dumb ass. But anyway, so in her notes. So anyway, moving along. I would like to talk about my experience with the education system now as an actual educator. So my experience as a first-year teacher was horrific. It was horrible. I would wish that experience on no one. It actually made me feel like a failure because when I work, I don't give a fuck if I work in at McDonald's. Like, I want to do my best. So my first career job, of course I'm going in happy, passionate, and trying to do my best. I probably burnt out before, like, probably during middle of the semester. Like, I probably burnt out. I was placed in a SOL tested grade level, which was 4th and 5th grade language arts. And I did teach science too on the side. So we did, it was weird though, because when I was teaching for language arts, you're supposed to get 90 minutes at least. A good school is going to have about 2 hours for language arts for elementary school. Just because language arts incorporates writing, it incorporates reading, and when we say reading, you're practicing fluency, and you're also practicing comprehension. Then you need your vocabulary, you need all these different aspects with language arts. So language arts incorporates all of those things. So it's not just reading for fluency. It is a deeper dive into language arts. I mean, to English literature, all that stuff, like writing. And like, you know, even though cursive was becoming obsolete, I was a person that believed like cursive writing should still be in there. I'm like, I know they letting them sign shit online, but I'm just old fashioned. So that was red flag number 1. I think I was given an hour. Red flag number 2 was there was no one else at the school that could teach language arts for that grade level, for like the SOL testing grade level, like for 4th and 5th. I was the only teacher that taught 4th and 5th grade language arts. So I'm a first time teacher. So that meant I had no other supports. When I got there, the books that would have been useful for like if you're doing guided reading and you're doing like your small groups, they were stored somewhere. Like they've spent thousands of dollars on these materials, and they're stored in a extra closet somewhere. And like I had to advocate a lot for like where is this and what is like all this stuff as a first year teacher. It was a horrible experience. I was grouped with some women who were more experienced, both teaching their own subject fields of their expertise. And one of them was really, really burnt out. And the other one just seemed to like kind of follow. It wasn't like she was bad and it wasn't like she was good. It was like she was just this kind of neutral. And it was because like, those two were there longer. Like I'm the one outside, and it was kind of like inviting at first. However, I noticed when I started to like not do what they wanted me to do. Like I know one time I got invited out for drinks, and I was just like, but I don't feel like going out for drinks. I'm not a drinker no more. I told you I partied so much in college, like I don't even drink that much. Like I probably drink like maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So like I declined. I think she felt some type of way about that. Like, and that might just been my own shit. Like, so I don't know if that's what she felt some type of way. I do know that the teacher that was there prior to me being there, she and that's kind of how I got that job. It was like a desperate, like I had already did my student teaching there, and then it was like this desperation, I guess, to fill the spot. So like, why not? But I don't think that was well thought out. Like it would have been a lot less stressful on her to actually find somebody that was competent to take that one. However, I proved competent, even though that bitch felt like I wasn't. So I say that with so much endearment in my heart. Can you pick up on the sarcasm? Because literally, when I say my first year of teaching was hell, if it wasn't for the student aide, the tutors, my sis who lives in Maryland. We also had behavioral, I think like a behavior specialist. Like she used to sit with one of our students. Like if it weren't for them, I would have literally lost my whole entire fucking mind. Like, I would have lost everything. And I think that's why it really started to crumble year 2 is because, like, the girl, like, my coworker who I look at as family, like, she left. It's just, like, sadness. It's like, she left. The girl who, sat with the students, she wasn't there. And, like, I did still have like my student aide and my teachers. And then I also had another co-teacher, which she was awesome. Wish I would have had her the first year. And then it also allowed me to not be teaching language arts by myself. She came from 3rd grade and they put her over there. So, I think I still taught 4th and 5th grade language arts, yeah, because I think she taught math. She taught all the math, and I taught still 4th and 5th grade language arts. Science was taken away, but I did history for my kids. So, that worked out better, but I still felt like year 1 had sucked my whole entire soul. I was told I couldn't read, and I was shown ugly truths about a system that people are willing to uphold. People are willing to keep participating in instead of striking. I know Virginia does not have unions. However, it is sad to see. And there are like organizations, like I will say the VEA. Shout out to them, that is doing good work behind the scenes. But I do feel like teachers and parents need to boycott these systems. If you can. I don't think homeschooling is a bad idea. However, the only thing I say is that if you're going to homeschool, find ways that your child can socialize. Some of the things that go on in classrooms, I feel like as parents, you'd be appalled. Um, and I don't mean that just simply from the educator and the children. I mean the literal way that things are set up. Like, I was being taught in meetings that we're gonna group these students, and we're gonna have red, yellow, and green. And the red groups mean that these students just won't pass. And no matter what you do with them, they won't pass. So we're not gonna focus a lot of attention on them. We're gonna focus mainly on this yellow group. And they say this shit without saying that shit like that. But they say verbatim that you're gonna focus most of your time on this yellow group. So what they've realized is that red won't pass no matter what you do. So we're not gonna put a lot into red's basket. Green gonna pass no matter what you do. So we're gonna let green, like with your students like me, we're gonna let green check out because they not being challenged. And we're gonna focus on yellow because these are our students that's in the danger zone, and they can go either way. And I couldn't get down with that logic. But this logic is coming from the pressures of SOL testing, and if your school isn't accredited, and because that school, I feel like that school's created out of racism. I think that parents created that school because they were moving into that area, gentrification. They were moving into that area, and they did not want their students to have to go to the public school, sort of say, because it was like I'll give it away, and I ain't trying to talk shit about. Fuck that school. Fuck it. It gave me hell. It made me fucking have a nervous breakdown. But it was a charter school. So, it was a charter school, and it was ran poorly. I would say that it was ran poorly. I don't know whose fault it was. So I did not come in from the beginning. There were some teachers that were there from the beginning. I call it the school of play. I think this school was created in their vision. I think it's on a different trajectory now, so this is nothing against what they're doing now. But I think parents created this school so that their children, this is just me hearing the history from other people, created school so that their children have another option, an alternative to public school. That would be their zone school, because this school is based on lottery. In our charter, the kids would go out to the park and play, so we had to integrate learning in the nature, which isn't a bad idea. I like that. I thought that was pretty dope and pretty cool. However, when you're getting pressured with testing, like, they was breaking that charter left and right. Breaking it left and right. So, I also witnessed that it was a lot of pressure on only testing grade levels. And if you didn't have a teacher who wasn't used to SOL testing, like they had never tested in a SOL grade level, they were lackadaisical with like their education. It was like more fun time. And I'm not saying that education can't be fun, but it felt more like play. It felt Montessori school to me in the lower grade levels, except for some people classes, but that's just me. That's what I observed. And so basically what would happen is you have this foundation of kids getting passed up. Like, I had a kid in 5th grade that was on the 1st grade reading level. That should have never happened. Like, he should have never been in 5th grade. Like, that's a failure. When we say no child left behind, it should not mean that we're going to pass these kids even though they're not proficient. I think that's a disservice. That's a disservice to us all. But I will further talk about why this is happening and how this is beneficial to a fucked up system. And I mean that disrespectfully. Things need to change. So, it makes me so fucking mad. I learned about this in college, but once I started actually working in the system, like, it all made sense. it all made sense of how truly evil and wicked this system is. And so what ends up happening is you have these kids that are on different grade levels, and you're being told to say, forget the ones that ain't up to par. And I can't do that. How the fuck I'm gonna go to sleep at night? I can't do that. So what I would do is my babies that were like below, I went to Walmart. I bought them workbooks. If you're on the first grade reading level, you can't learn fifth grade work. Let's start here. So while we're doing group work, you can do this work. And even though it might single someone out, I don't give a fuck. Like, if this is where your learning is, this is where your learning is. There were lots of things I did wrong in the classroom because I'm a first year teacher and I had no support. Let's just keep it at that. But I kept on trying. I invited my professor to my classroom. She helped me get my reading group set up. She helped me get a chart going so the students could know the order. Like, I tried my best to do my best and be my best in that position. It sucked my soul. It sucked my whole entire soul. The reason I'm saying this is SOLs are not important. Like, I just had to tell my daughter that the other day. She was like, Mom, why are you making me retake this if you feel like they're not important? And I'm just like, retake it, see if you can pass it. The real reason I'm making her retake it is because, once again, when you graduate high school, colleges look at your transcripts. And I don't really think they give too much weight to SOLs. It's more of the SATs or the ACT. And I think that's I think it is for getting into college. I don't know. I just know, I know for sure the SATs. I can't remember all those damn tests. I think it is though. But I definitely feel like, they look at testing at certain colleges. So that is my only reason, like, I would like for her to at least get proficient. Other than that, I don't really give a shit about no SOLs. Like, I don't. Fuck that test. Fuck that test with a hard F. And I mean it. I mean it in my soul. I wish. Can I say that, like, this is a business. This is a big business going on. And the thing that I learned in college that I said that I want to, I was thankful that I had other educators because I was not a part of the curriculum when I learned it. But I learned about the prison pipeline. So the pipeline to prison pipeline, however you want to word it. I learned about that in college. When I heard it, and it was one of those things where it was like, I didn't get the full effect of anger that I would gain to have. Like, I am completely pissed off. I had the anger, but this is a different anger now that I've been in the system, seen how it works. It is a revolving cycle, sickler door, just like prison. We're basically teaching our children not to have critical thinking skills. We're teaching our children to learn this information based on what you should know for a test. I do see this happening. They are giving progress tests. They started giving progress tests when I was teaching. I loved it because I think that's what matters. When I told you I had a student that was on the first grade reading level in the fifth grade, if a student can come in the first grade reading level and get up to a second or a third grade reading level in the fifth grade through that year, that is phenomenal progress. Now, is that student proficient in fifth grade reading? No. Why is that student here? That's a conversation we should be having. However, it is fucking progress, and a student deserves to be praised for the hard work that they've put in. And also, we need to stop basing what a student knows on a teacher's ability to teach. One does not correlate with the other. We cannot base teachers' proficiency on other people. And it's just that simple. You can have a great teacher, and you can have a student who lacks some skills to be at the grade level that the teacher needs to teach from. And that's where SOLs do not have any, they don't have any gray areas for that. SOLs just have, these are your standards, these are the topics, standards of learning is SOLs. These are the topics you need to cover throughout this school year. Your students should be proficient in these topics. They should know how to take these tests that someone who probably doesn't teach has created. Someone who probably doesn't teach has created. All of it is a business. So you're buying these things from different corporations or businesses, even down to the fucking food in the cafeteria. It's a business. This is a business. I think the moment you figure out that all this shit is about business, and we've been coming to it from a working, like a working class lens, but all of this is a business. And it's a business that is a tight-knit circle that feeds itself and also siphons from people like us. So what I'm trying to get to is what I learned in college was they create and build prisons based on whether a child can read on grade level by third grade. And this is why. They know that they've done studies that a child who does not read on grade level by the third grade, they are more likely to be a criminal because they lack education. Like, without reading, what can you do? If you can't read, it's not a lot that you can do. So you're more prone to criminal activity, a life of crime, if you're uneducated. And it's not based on math. It's based on reading. So if you're a parent and you're listening to this, make sure that you read with your child. Make sure you take your child to the library or a bookstore. Let them pick out their own books of their interest, not your interest, their interest. The ones with the pretty colors and the pretty pictures. Let them choose those books. Let them choose those books. Sit down and read with them. Let them read the book to you. Moms who have babies in utero, read to those babies in utero. Read to those babies when you have them. Read. Reading should be done at home, not only at school. They're literally building prisons based on whether a child can read on grade level by the third grade. So saying that, it pisses me off because instead of you funding more effective reading programs, you're building prisons. And we think slavery is over. Welcome to modern day slavery, where your kids are fed social media all the time. They don't have critical thinking skills because they're being taught standards. If you're being taught, just think of it. If you're being taught standards, there's no space for you to think outside the standard. You're just being taught this is what you need to know. But you're not given the space to explore outside of that. Unless you have a really dope-ass teacher. But a lot of our dope-ass teachers are leaving the system. They're tired. They're burnt out. They can't do it. They came into this with a passion. And they just simply can't do it. A lot of my people that I know in education that I was close to have left. Shit, I know people like one of my classmates, she was talking about being a realtor. She's just completely outside of teaching. I do have a friend, she does homeschooling, which is still within the range of teaching, actually gives her freedom to actually be a teacher. Go figure. So yeah, I'm disgusted by that. I think that was like my biggest disgust. The groupings of the students, and we building prisons based on when a child can read instead of more reading programs. And that's not the whole prison pipeline. There are so many factors to prison pipeline. Like, and I met this wonderful man named Chris who does advocacy for this, and his is more on the end of the conditioning. Like when I was telling you how I went to school and we were searched, and you see metal detectors, and it's not metal detectors because you're scared of intruders. You have metal detectors because of us. So, or, seeing that students have, emotional difficulties, and instead of getting them therapy and counseling, you are putting them in juvenile detention. You are doing certain things that are conditioning them to go straight to jail. And it's blatant and it's clear. And he's doing some good work. I haven't kept up lately, but I was fortunate enough to meet him. And I love the work that he had did when I met him, and I hope he's still getting the support he needs with that. Terrible thing going on. So, SOLs, I hope to see the day that we get rid of them and we have an education system that is more progress-based. I would love to see more trade school opportunities, available to our students. Plumbers make more money than I did. Like, plumbers make more money than I did. HVAC people make more money than I did. Like, trade schools are important. Welders make money. Like, trade schools are important. Trade schools are a great alternative to, I am wanting something that is going to have me career ready and making a decent amount of money, and I am still providing, a skill set for society that society needs. So we need to have more programming done towards reading. We need to focus on reading. That doesn't mean that we don't focus on any other subjects. No, it just means that we have a problem. We have a society that doesn't read. It's actually a joke that used to be told, like, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. Like, and I feel like my ancestors would be turned over in their grave if they saw us allowing this system to trick us out our spot. We were killed. We were beaten. We were whipped for trying to learn how to read. Now that we have all the access and resources, and not all of us, because that's another issue that they would like for us to believe that all these kids and their parents have this information. What about the parents who, when they went to school, they didn't like school? They might have been told they were slow. They might have been told that, they weren't good at it. And it was nothing wrong with them. Their processing was different. They maybe had a mode of learning that wasn't aligned with what the teacher wanted to provide. Now we have differentiated learning in our education system because we know that, you need it. But what about those parents who are put off by school? They can't give to their kid what they don't have. So, like, I don't shun the parents. It reminds me of this video that was sent to me by one of my old students that I used to have at Reynolds. Congratulations to y'all for graduating. I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all had graduation. I was not there. But I love y'all and I'm so proud of y'all. So she sent me this video, and it was of this white woman, and she was just saying how she was calling America out for how lazy the citizens were when it came to American English. And she was saying that, Americans are so lazy. And if I can find a video, I'll put the link in this. But it usually be hard when it's like Instagram and stuff like that. But she was just saying, like, Americans are so lazy. And she had some facts in this, but I'm gonna tell you where she fucked up. But she was saying that Americans are so lazy. That's fuck up number one. A lot of people do look at Americans like they're lazy, but you're losing context. Americans are not lazy. We're far from fucking lazy. What we are overworked and brainwashed. That's what we are. We're overworked and we're brainwashed. But she said that other countries are learning multiple languages, and most countries have to learn English because Americans are too fucking lazy to learn another language. I want to stop her right there. Lazy is harsh. Lazy is a poor choice of wording. America, I'm going to say this. American citizens are far from lazy. We're far from dumb. The problem is that we have been brainwashed. We have been suckered by a system that did not want us to be educated, because if we were educated, then we would see what was going on and we would actually advocate and make change. We would not only advocate, but we would make change if we were able to wake up as a whole and be educated. So what America has a fancy way of doing, and you know what? I'm not blaming America. America is the land that was colonized. What the colonizers were very strategic and smart about doing was gatekeeping. That's why you have classism. You got classism, you know, who can get in and who cannot. And America had a way of gatekeeping and setting up classism so that only certain people of a certain color, of a certain lineage, because that's one thing that I feel like us as Americans do. We fight against each other, whether we're white, black, or brown. It does not matter. We need to be united. I'm not holding all white people accountable for the sins of their descendants. Some of y'all get this, and I'm happy that y'all do. Some of y'all see that these rants about colonizers are not direct attacks against you, and I'm happy. That means you're free. You're free from your ancestors' messed up ways. But I feel like there are certain people that were gatekeeping certain information, whitewashing certain histories, and pinning us against each other. Because there are poor white people, and there are poor white people in rural areas. There are poor white people in like the offskirts of the counties, or like it's a trailer park like on JD. Like, so you have poor white people, you have poor black people, you have poor Hispanics. Typically what happens is they pin us against each other so that we can be arguing and spatting like little, we're basically doing their work for them. We're going against each other for them, and instead of looking at them. So like, it's kind of like one of those tricks where it's like they're hiding their hands and we're fighting each other. What America has been strategically successful at doing is making sure that certain people are not educated. Certain people have traps set up for them. Like, our government admitted to putting crack cocaine out on the streets. Like, black people already knew it. Black people already knew it. Some white people already knew it. But they just decided to admit it not too long ago. Like, this is them admitting it, that the CIA did this to fund the war. So, yet a lot of black people in the communities who sold the drugs and took the drugs were locked up. Instead of providing opportunities for us, they set traps for us. And then other races look at us and be like, oh my gosh, you guys are such a deplorable race. You just can't get it together. Like, motherfucker, we the roaches of this shit. Like, we survive no matter what. Like, and I'm sorry to put it like that, but that's how I see it. Like, we are the roaches of this society, and we survive no matter what. You did not go through what we went through, and you can't tell us how we should be. What you should do is find some compassion and empathy, and maybe we have a conversation about how not to fall into these traps. But every time my race of people get their shit together, we get bombed, our neighborhoods turns into lakes. We have plenty of Black Wall Streets. Like in my city, 2nd Street, Jackson Ward, Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street. We become parking lots. In Richmond, our history is parking lots. You can't tell me that is a coincidence that they're making our historical sites fucking parking lots. Our grave sites parking lots. What? The disrespect is blatant and real. Like, you really, like, there was an exhibit at the VMFA that I went to through my job. It was called Hidden in Plain Sight, that literally showed different parts that was something else, like different parts of Richmond that was something else. They did it in Roanoke too, where they got the Henrietta Lacks statue too in Roanoke. We went to go see that with my job. That's why I love my job. My job is not hiding history. Well, my old job. I'm sorry I left y'all. New adventures, but I love y'all. But they're not hiding history. They're saying the only way we can get through this is to acknowledge it. It happened. Like, how can we stop this from repeating itself? And we can only do that by having these conversations about the truth. Like, American citizens are not lazy. American citizens have been tricked. American citizens have been duped. American citizens have been going through Stockholm Syndrome. American citizens have been thinking that they could play along with a system and maybe with the hopes. That's the whole American dream. The whole hopes of, if I play along with this system, I can one day get a piece of the pie too. Fuck your pie. Fuck you. I don't want to play with you no more. And that's just how I feel about it. And I feel like the statement she made was accurate. But it was also some of her colonization coming out that it was insensitive. Yes, you said the truth that other countries are being taught other languages. But do you know, I was talking to someone from Congo, and he made a good point. Like, America doesn't have not one African language offered to students in the classroom. It is not one African language offered to us in the classroom with regular, like, public education. Even if you go to college, like, the main ones is, like, you think about Arabic, German, Mandarin, Spanish, French. You think about those big five. And do you know African language? Do you know the name of an African language? Like, I always heard about Swahili since I was little. Like, Swahili was always a language that I heard. I remember my name being a name in Swahili. So it is in Swahili and Arabic. So I did know Swahili, far as an African language. Other than Swahili, I don't know any other names of African languages because America doesn't teach us this. Why doesn't America teach us this? Africa is the most resourceful continent on this planet far as natural resources. Why aren't we being taught different languages from Africa? Why? I didn't even learn Spanish until I was in high school. I didn't even learn Spanish until I was in high school. And language wasn't even always a requirement in school. That was something that was on a newer wavelength for, like, public school. So why? Because they want us stupid. So it's not laziness. It's not that Americans, because she was talking about we could at least have the audacity to speak fucking proper English. And I don't care who her audience was. She